As I told you, I am primarily a logistician. The challenges of the logistics don't make a very good narration. सुनाने में उतना कोई romantic नहीं लगता है. But let me tell you, the logistical challenge is tremendous, and I thoroughly enjoyed them. As a logistician, the challenge of logistics is even peculiar, very, very peculiar to the Indian. For that matter, most of the armies. Because, you aren't given a choice. The tactician he makes a plan. When he is making a plan, he can choose whether we can approach this task, whether we cannot approach this task. Can we go this way or can we go that way? Can we do it in the morning? Can we do it in the evening? He got all those choices. He may feel that probably the manpower and the capabilities that I have, probably the frontage that I can cover is only this much and not this much. Right? He can feel so. He can decide so. He can give that logic. But a logistician doesn't have any choice. Wherever he goes, you got to live up to that expectation. Wherever he goes, you got to be right behind him. You're not going to be asked, do you have the wherewithal and the resources and the capability? कि आपके पास उतना साधन है, उतने लोग हैं उस पहाड़ पर लॉजिस्टिक्स पहुंचा देने का. Do you have that many vehicles which can do this? Do you have that many stores which can do this? Those questions are there, but generally there's a foregone conclusion. एक generally पूछ लेंगे. Anybody who's listening from the army will agree to me, and probably they may have different opinion. The entire operational discussion of the army is only about tactics. If it is a 2-day discussion, say 6 hours daily, so out of that it will be 11 hours, 11 to 11 hours it will be tactics. After they decided on the plan, then they will look at the logistics. So, you got anything to say? So he's got to only say how am I going to meet it. Most probably, एक आधा बार देखा होगा मैंने very very sharp. अगर कोई होगा, he can get up and say कि sir, logistically this is not feasible. Very rarely I've seen someone. Otherwise, most of the time you go to say that yeah, really. So logistical challenges are very very huge, very huge. And there are no options. Nobody is asking you whether you can do this or not. I was there in Jammu once handling the entire transport logistics, the fulcrum of transport logistics of the entire JNK. The entire advancement of stocking to all the stockings begin from Jammu to transport. And if you remember, there was a flash flood in Leh once. So all that stocking that had happened was all washed off, went down. And we always, a logistician, you are running against time that the passes will get closed. So we simply told, now make it up. So something we were doing in 6 months, now to do in 15 days, right? Even more, because a lot of damage had happened, a lot of cement had to go, which wasn't there part of the initial logistics. So all that logistics of food and supplies that was stocked were washed off, and now again bhejna hai. So it's not that only you need to push up fuel, but now also the barrels, because of the curbside pump जिसमें fuel store किया गया था, that also had gone off. So now no time to make those curbside pumps, जैसे पेट्रोल पंप पे होता है नीचे टंकी होती है, वो नहीं था. So you need to push in barrel also. There are a lot of damage to the structures that had happened. So you need to push off, a lot of cement, entire malgadi full of cement came to us. You need to push it up, and you're rushing against time. The passes will close. So the logistical challenges are, for the first time I'm talking, because it doesn't make very good narration. Everybody wants to talk about battles. But I'm telling you, the logistical challenges are always a very, very big, and they're real. Why I'm telling you real is that even when you go for a training exercise in the Indian Army, so at times, due to constraints of equipment, time and cost cutting, right, we simulate a few things. Okay, let us presume that, okay, for a brigade of, so we'll move a small body of troops, presume that brigade move kariye. Let's see how. We will same export, वो same template we will, we'll get our lessons. अगर हमको पता करना 50 आदमी कितनी देर में चलेंगे तो 10 भी तो चला के उतना ही देर लगे ना, तो why make that? So, but in logistics there is no presumption. Even if they've gone for training, they're going to eat real rations. Na? All the vehicles and tanks that have gone there will actually be consuming real fuels. You cannot say, okay, presume that you've had food. You cannot say, okay, presume that you have fuel in your gadi, in your tank, in your guns. You cannot say presume. So even the challenge of logistics is always real. It's never a training exercise. Though we've gone for a training exercise, but the logistics challenge is actually not only like I'm from the Army Service Corps, whether it is the Corps of Engineers again, the Corps of Signals there. So they want to actually make people communicate in that place, establish those lines and every infrastructure and network. That cannot be imaginary. Presume that आपकी बात हो गई है, नहीं भैया बात तो करानी पड़ेगी. So that is the logistical challenge, and slightly they don't get that due what the people should give. But you look back at all the military history and the battles of the world, most of it is, you get your logistics right, 9 out of 10 you're going to win the battle. They always go down as an unsung heroes, but that is what it is. And I can be very proud of one thing. I can claim that one part. That never, I am from the Army Service Corps originally, the premier logistic corps of the Indian Army. Never ever has Indian Army lost even a single or the smallest battle, even if a post, for lack of ammunition, for lack of rations, for lack of fuel. So as far as this is concerned, the success rate of the Indian Army's logistician is 100%.